Welcome to What's Barking Local. My name is Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us the day before Thanksgiving in Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, live on the I Love CVille Network. What's Barking Local, powered by Animal Connection. 18 years and counting. This business, extremely impactful in this community and the McIntyre Plaza. Judah Wickower, you are a director, my friend. Why don't we start with the two-shot with Patty Boden and I. Good afternoon, Patty.
Hey.
How are you?
What a flurry of activity.
Right? You're busy. What's going on in Animal Connection?
Day before Thanksgiving, who's not busy? If you're not busy, you're not in business.
I love it. I love it. How were the photos?
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope Judah's going to throw a few up on the screen. It was great. We did above and beyond what we expected. And those girls, Miette, Mishi, and Jen Skipper, are just... they're the best at what they do. I mean, they will lie down on the floor and get the best shot and make cute, funny noises with these dogs. And I mean, it couldn't have been better. I mean, we were overbooked, made it happen. We had walk-ins, made it happen. And it was just a great day all over in the store, you know, for people coming in to shop and getting free gift bags and coupons, and it was a super duper day.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Animal Connection heading into the holidays with Black Friday and Cyber Monday right around the corner.
And Small Biz Saturday.
And
we
Small Biz
we call
Saturday.
it Not So Small Business Saturday. Yeah.
So you're not going to be sleeping for
Nope.
probably 38 days or so.
Yeah, and then Giving Tuesday. So, yeah, it's all happening.
Spotlight, what's coming up?
Okay, so for Black Friday and for Small Biz Saturday, you get gift bags with a minimum purchase. You get goodies. You get deals on so many brands on our store. And when you walk in, you know, we'll give you a list of what's on sale, so you can just walk around and check off your boxes and shop, shop, shop. That happens Friday and Saturday. We are also having a gift certificate drawing for $200
Nice.
in the store. That registration ends on Saturday. And then Monday, instead of Cyber Monday, we're doing Cider Monday. So you can come in and get hot cider and fantastic donuts made by Carpe Donut, our neighbors across the parking lot. And just kind of relax and find out what shopping in a real store rather than online. You know, the benefits are just so huge.
We're live.
Like Shop Local.
Shop Local, live on 12 Facebook pages here.
That's right.
Animal Connection is giving back tremendously to our community. We encourage all our viewers to respond and return the favor by shopping local in the McIntyre Plaza. You've done this for 18 years.
Yep. Can you believe it?
18 years.
Woohoo.
Another 18 to go.
Maybe.
Keep it local, keep it local. Now, you have welcomed just
Yes.
an absolute star to our set.
We have, and people are going to say, horses. You know, what's barking local about horses? But anyone that
It's one of your passions.
That's right. Anyone
Yeah.
that knows me knows that I've had many, many equine companions in my life, and I would say the vast majority of them are horses that were unwanted by somebody else, or retired, or thrown in a field, and I was able to take them and do fun things with them, like even eventing, showing, trail riding, fox hunting, cattle working. I mean, the majority of my horses, except for the one I have now, were all giveaways, and older horses. So I have a real soft spot in my heart for these, and so does our guest today, Maya Proulx. She is director, founder of Hope's Legacy Equine Rescue. And they just do so many awesome things for the four-legged critters around here. And we've got a big, big fundraising event that needs to happen this week to get them ready for winter. So, you know, how about if we let Maya tell everybody about it?
I love it. I love it. Abby, thank you for sharing the stream. Judah Wickower, let's go to the studio cam and let's welcome Maya to the show. Give it a like and a share on any of the 12 Facebook pages you're watching. If you'd like to relay perspective to Maya, put it in the chat box. We start with the same question for everyone. Introduce yourself to the viewing public. What makes you tick, your hobbies, passions, and interests?
So I'm Maya Proulx. I'm the founder and executive director of Hope's Legacy Equine Rescue. Haven't quite figured out what makes me tick. I've been thinking about that.
Ponies!
And yes, the horses, the ponies, the donkeys, all of those. Hobbies at this point are feeding horses, figuring out how to feed horses. I do read some, managed
About
to fit some
horses.
of that in, often about horses, yep. The rescue has definitely kind of taken over my life at this point, but that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And I just, 11 years ago, saw a real need in Virginia for a horse rescue, particularly in this area, and went ahead and started Hope's Legacy. And since then, we actually just took in our 259th horse.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yep.
Good for you.
Yeah.
How's that make you feel?
Pretty good. Yep. Because these are all horses that really needed somewhere safe to go. The last two that we took in were owner surrenders, but they came through animal control assistance, basically. It was a situation where they didn't need to be seized, but they needed to have somewhere safe to land and find them a home that could take care of their needs a little better. So
Well, you've been instrumental in several different situations. I mean, in the news in the last 5 years, I mean, where there were maybe like over 30 horses at a place that was supposedly a rescue and not really taking good care of the horses, and you generously came to get them and help them. Right.
Yeah, a lot of people
Yeah.
first found out about Hope's Legacy in 2015
Right.
with the Peaceable Farm case,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was the 101 starving and dying horses
Can
up
you
in Orange
imagine?
I
County.
remember that case.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Hope's
Yeah.
Legacy took 29 horses
Yeah.
from that case. Prior to that, we had never had more than 15 horses in the rescue at any time.
Get out.
Yeah, so
you
we
had
went.
15 horses in the rescue, and then you took in 29?
Yep, within a 24-hour period.
How did you manage that? Do what you got to do?
Huge amount of help. The community support was phenomenal. It was amazing. We had people calling us and offering to foster people that I had never met before. People were telling their friends and offering to foster horses.
I mean, how many farms helped host horses? You had quite a few.
We
of them in
did. We had
in
one
our
farm
area.
that actually housed
Right.
9 horses for a while. I would say total we had probably 12 or 13 individual farms that all housed horses for us directly from that situation. And many of them were people that we already knew, but some were new folks that, their vet knew about the situation and said, hey, you've got the space, you could help. And many of those people still work with us today.
Give
Wow.
us the birth story of Hope's Legacy.
Well, I had always had one rescue at a time. My first horse, my parents told me that when I could afford a horse, not only to purchase it, but to care for it, I could get a horse. What they didn't count on was me finding somebody to give me a horse, so that cut down on the time a lot. And it was a horse that had been abandoned at a boarding stable. The owner had just disappeared, had stopped paying board, and they needed somewhere for this horse to go. She was not a good first horse. I loved her dearly, but it's kind of lucky I survived. I learned a lot from her. Mm-hmm. And after that, I always had one horse at a time that had come from a bad situation, and I just reached a point where I wanted to do it on a larger scale and started looking into what it would take to start a nonprofit. And in 2008, as the economy was crashing, I thought, hey, why not start
That's when I launched my business.
why not start a nonprofit now?
There
But
you
if
go.
you can do it in 2008, then you can do it anytime.
Exactly. Yep. And we went slow and steady. The first year that we were in operation, we took in one donkey, and that was it.
One donkey.
One donkey. Yep.
Okay.
Our first intake was actually a donkey, not a horse. And in one of these remarkable small world things that you get from around here,
Donks are amazing, Jerry. They're
the most wonderful creatures.
They're completely
Yeah.
different than a horse. They're
Yes.
just got a different personality.
Really?
You would love them.
How
They
so?
do.
You would love them.
They're very stubborn. There's a reason why people use a certain phrase about being stubborn. They're very smart.
Right.
They bond with people a lot more than horses do, I think. They tend to really have their people and they want to be with them. They bond very strongly with other donkeys. Actually, horse pairs, when they come in and people tell us they're bonded, usually if I introduce them to other horses, they'll go off and make new friends.
Any herd and storm, right?
Yeah,
right,
exactly. Donkeys, on the other hand, usually if they come in with a bonded donkey, it's the two of them against the world, and that is their pair.
I respect them.
Yeah, and we won't, if we have a bonded pair, we won't separate them because it's not fair to them. They have to
Yeah.
make that connection
It's
all
strong.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
What's
Yeah.
your day-to-day look like at Hope's Legacy?
So we have an amazing group of volunteers that come in and feed the horses. It was actually a really exciting day for the rescue when we reached the point where I didn't have to be the one there feeding them at all times.
Delegate.
Yes, I could focus on some other more administrative stuff. So we've got two groups of volunteers, a morning shift and an evening shift, who come in and feed. They check and make sure all the horses are happy and healthy, no injuries overnight or anything like that. We've actually started a new new program called the Equine Enrichment program, and the volunteers actually take the horses for walks. They assess their needs and their training level, and then put together a whole plan for how to progress them in different steps and things that'll make them more adoptable. And they take them out for walks to get them out and more active. They ride them, they lunge them, all the stuff that horses need, and gives them a little more mental stimulation than just standing in a field every day as well.
Pretty nice. And then some of them can go on and do other things. But, even then, just, working with them on the ground, so they have manners that are acceptable to anybody that might want to adopt them.
Yes.
Or riding manners that are safe, for any age. That's not an easy job.
Yep.
Because you don't know their history.
Yeah. Most of the time we have no background information on the horses. Many of them actually come in without names as well. Because, if animal control is seizing a horse from somebody, they don't usually want to give animal control any information about it because they're angry and upset about the situation. So sometimes we get names, sometimes we don't. It really varies.
We do, and Patty does a fabulous job of spotlighting a lot of rescue groups through her platform and her network and brand. This is the first horse rescue group we've spotlighted. How about the challenges? We know the challenges of dog or cat rescue group. I've got to imagine it's exponentially greater when you're talking with horses.
So space is definitely a challenge,
Right.
of course. Somebody who has a house can foster a dog. Foster a horse, you have to have a farm and space for them. They are very expensive.
Put it in perspective.
Well, day to day, what does a horse eat? How much? And many dollars?
That's what I'm
worth,
looking
right?
for.
Yeah, so an average horse, we estimate it's about $3,500 a year.
Okay.
And that's just very basic care. That's them not having any medical emergencies. That's them not needing any special food or anything like that. Some of our older horses that are on medications for arthritis and things like that, that medication is $100 a month just for the arthritis medications. Knowledge is another challenge, finding people who know how to care for horses, particularly older horses. We hear a lot of, this horse is thin because it's old. And we can show you photos of horses in their 30s that are fat. Thin because you're old is not an excuse at all. And that's an education thing, not just for horse owners, but also for animal control, because they don't always realize. Because Virginia actually doesn't have a requirement that animal control officers have any equine training.
Really?
Yeah. That is something that is left up to the localities to determine if they want to send their animal control officers for training.
I feel like the stigma that's out there is that if you own a horse, you got some money, you're going to take care of this horse, because horses are so different than dogs and cats here. You're saying that is not the case.
That is not the case. And there's a mentality in Virginia where if you have an acre of land, a lot of folks will think, hey, I've got an acre of land. I can fit a couple of horses on there. And they don't realize, they don't realize what actually goes into caring for them. And
well, not only that, because an acre of land isn't nearly enough for even a pony to stay on grass for a year.
Yeah, the standard is more like 2 acres per horse to be able to maintain them through the year without it just being mud.
What's an everyday for a horse look like that's in a healthy environment?
So for our horses, they basically just stand in a field and eat all day.
Living the life.
Yes, life is pretty good. Life is pretty good. They can, they have shelter if they want to get out of the rain or the sun or whatever is happening weather-wise. They've got fresh, clean water to drink, and they've got some roughage source, whether it's grass or hay, something that they can munch on pretty much all day.
Right, but it's so different for horses because you have to pay attention to so many details. I mean, feet. I mean, a dog, you can let their nails go for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. A horse's feet, you have to look after every day. They got something lodged in there, you've got bruises, you've got infection, you've got problems, and the horses can't stand. So they're just little things like that you really have to consider when you're looking after horses versus dogs or cats.
You guys,
it's a lot of maintenance.
You guys have a fabulous fundraising campaign.
We do.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
going on. So I'm on the website. And guys, the website is hopeslegacy.com. If
Yep.
we, on the menu bar, click Capital Campaign, that's an opportunity for you to donate to Hope's Legacy. Let's
Right.
talk about the Capital Campaign. Put that in perspective for us.
So for the first 9 years that Hope's Legacy was in operation, we used either leased or borrowed property. We moved 7 times in that 9 years. And if you've ever moved your house, you know it's really difficult.
Yeah, that's no easy task.
Add a couple of 1,000-pound animals
Right.
and all
Yeah,
of the
even
equipment and everything that goes with it. So it was actually in about late 2014 when we started looking for property to purchase. And as you guys probably know, in this world, land is very expensive.
Yes.
So we put word out, because we weren't finding anything on the commercial real estate market that fit our needs. So we put word out that we were looking, and a lovely family, the Merrills, contacted me and said that it was 6 siblings had inherited some property, and they didn't want it developed, and they were looking at selling a portion of it, and did we want to come look at it? And it was in a great location. It's right outside of Batesville. And I said, absolutely. And I went and drove around and looked at it, and we managed to work out a deal. They're actually financing it for us with 0% interest.
Get out.
Wow.
Which
Good
is
for you.
an amazing.
Way to go.
Yeah.
They're just the
I wanna
most
give you
wonderful
some
family.
props on that.
Yes.
Wow.
They are great people. And
You don't do that in real estate, do you?
No. Okay, I'm just like blown away by that right there. Good for
Yeah.
you.
and
0% interest.
Look at he's gonna
no
go under the
interest.
table.
And we bought 172 acres in western Albemarle County for $680,000.
Okay, all right.
Which
Come on now. Yeah, I'm giving you a high five.
We got a heck of a deal
I'm like
on
blown
that.
away right now.
That's-
This is crazy.
Yeah.
If you feel faint, let me know and I'll catch you.
I'm sweating right now. In Western Albemarle?
in western Albemarle County.
You're making moves.
It's these folks, like I said, they didn't want the property developed. They really believe in what Hope's Legacy does, and they
Right on.
did everything they could to make this deal happen. So actually today is the 2-year anniversary of our closing on that property.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank
Now,
you.
That's something to celebrate today.
It is.
Seriously.
It
The day
is.
before Thanksgiving?
That's
Yep.
great.
That
No
is
way.
awesome.
Though it was 2 years ago, it was right after Thanksgiving because it wasn't
Wow.
quite that late that year.
Yeah.
But since then, we've put in, I'm going to have to remember my numbers. What do we have? I think we have 7 run-in sheds. We have a hay barn. We have 7 fenced fields.
For people that don't know horses, a run-in shed is basically a 3-sided barn that the horses can choose to go in or out.
Yep.
There you go.
Shelter in the field for
That's
them.
shelter in the field,
Yeah.
exactly. Windbreak.
So this campaign, and guys, I have pinned the link, hopeslegacy.com/givingheyday. What's the expectation? What's the plan here through this campaign?
So our goal this year is to raise $15,000 to purchase hay to feed the horses and donkeys through the winter. So last year was a really, really bad hay year because it rained so much that
Right.
the farmers couldn't cut hay. This year we had a drought, so it was a really bad hay year, but nobody has any reserves because they went through all their reserves last year pretty
Right.
much. So hay costs are skyrocketing. We used to be able to buy hay for $5 a bale. Now we're looking at having to pay closer to 10.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's getting hard to find hay as
Yeah.
well. So we're hoping to be able to get the barn stocked and get ready to get those horses through the winter.
She has some tangible metrics, and I love tangible metrics here.
Ooh, I love
one bale of
digital.
hay, $8.
Yep.
1 day of hay, $56. 1 week of hay, $392. As someone who's a numbers guy, I love this tangible understanding of how the money will be allocated.
And these are square barrels? Or, yeah,
We do
yeah,
have to
right.
feed square bales.
Right.
Unfortunately, we don't have a tractor quite large enough to
Right.
handle round bales.
So a horse will eat about a half a bale. roughly of hay a day, just about. I
In
mean, to keep their
January,
their weight on.
February,
Yeah.
it usually actually goes up to closer to a full bale.
Yeah.
You're getting some props from Kate Owens, Courtney Bolgers watching the program right now. A lot of folks in Charlotte, North Carolina, and in Tennessee watching. Ted Wells, Kayla Snyder, Bethany Kilby, welcome to the program. Tim and Crozet, welcome to the program. We have a comment coming in from our friend Kimberly Payne-Hawk. She
Yay.
says, I absolutely love Maya and Hope's legacy. They
Spoke
do
to her this
great
morning.
work and
Yes, they
always
do.
help our dog rescue when we find horses who need rescued. Great job, Maya, and Hope's legacy. What's that mean
Thank
to
you, Kimberly.
It's really nice to be able to work with other rescue organizations in the area. We have such an amazing rescue community around Charlottesville, and I think one of the best parts of it is that they all support each other.
Yeah.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition.
No. We all have the same goals. We all want to help the animals. And it's just a nice group of people. So.
Right, and it just works hand in hand. I mean, most
Yeah.
people that have horses do have barn dogs. They have barn cats. So it's a circle. It's a village.
Yes.
Now, give some insight into long-term plans here. Goal-oriented person, 3, 5, and 10-year goals. What would you like to see from the brand?
So our ultimate goal with Castle Rock Farm, the farm that we purchased, is that we're going to be able to increase our capacity to house close to 50 horses at any given time. Currently, our capacity is somewhere between 30 and 35. So that's going to enable us to be able to help a lot more horses. We, in the 3-year plan, are hoping to get our barn built, which will be wonderful, and a riding ring. And then 5 to 10 years out, we'll finish all of the fencing and the infrastructure at the farm that we need to be able to increase those numbers.
Right. But right now, anybody that's that's listening or watching, you can go to that Giving Hay Day and make a donation right now while you're watching the show. That'd be a really cool thing.
The link is in the comments section.
That's right.
You are getting some props and some love from Nell Roberts.
She was one of my teachers in elementary school.
Oh my gosh.
She's watching right now. If you'd like to relay a message to Maya, please put it in the comment section. This is from Grace Enrichment. Are there other horse rescue groups around Virginia that you can speak about?
There are. So we actually have a group called VERO, which is the Virginia Alliance of Equine Rescue Organizations. And I think we're up to 19
Okay.
horse and donkey rescues that are members of that organization. It's not, I'm trying to think how to describe it exactly. So we all work together, but we don't have, we don't go and inspect the facilities and everything. So we're not a governing body or anything like that.
But these are rescues, not retirement, correct?
We do have a couple of retirement homes.
What's the difference?
So rescues, they take in the animals and then adopt them out.
Okay.
And then retirement homes are sanctuaries. The horses come in and they stay there for the remainder of their lives.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Are there any tips that you want to give to anyone listening? Like if you are considering placing your horse in retirement, what would you look for when you go to visit a farm?
Good question.
Look at the other horses. That is the absolute number one indicator. Are the other horses fat and happy and healthy looking? Do they have clean water? Do they have, if it's in the winter, do they have hay pretty much 24/7? If it's in the summer, do they have adequate grass? Is the fencing safe? And then also, if you're looking to place your horse in a nonprofit organization, look at their financials and
that's a
see
good one.
if they
Yeah.
are financially sound. And
Because
if
this
they're
is an area, Jerry, where a lot of people that maybe have either competition horses in more expensive areas like the Northeast or whatever, and the jobs are done, and it is less expensive in the South to retire a horse. And sometimes that's where problems start, is they send them away and they don't check.
Oh.
Right?
Yep.
And then they end up.
That's kind of disheartening.
It is.
These horses
Yeah.
are given their
Disregarded.
lives for
Yeah.
to help people and to keep us from, I don't know, falling off or showing and winning awards and whatnot. And then they're just,
They're
sometimes
seen as commodities.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes
They're
they're
not
treated
family
as
members.
disposable.
Yeah.
So, and then they end up at a rescue,
We have a
not
horse
fair.
in the rescue who's 35 years old now.
35.
Yeah. He
Is
was
that
a-
human years?
That is human years.
Okay,
yes.
so it's not
That's
like
really
I'm
old.
not nearly smart. It's not like dogs.
Oh no, that's
Okay.
really
So
old.
the equivalent for horses, what is it? It's 2.7 years or something like that.
So
per-
each year for a
Yeah.
horse is 2.7 human years.
yeah.
Yeah, and I can't do that math in my head
Okay.
never
right
had a
now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use
It's
my
somewhere.
calculator
Yes.
on that. Now, why don't I figure that out on my calculator?
I never had a horse live over 25. So
Yeah.
So that horse is 94 and a half years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And is the horse still doing well?
He is still doing well, and
Wow.
he actually did beginner riding lessons for 25 years. And when he had to retire, and for those of you who aren't familiar with beginner lesson horses, they are saints, absolute
Yes, they
Yeah,
saints.
because you're getting kicked by the kids, right?
You put up with a lot of stuff doing that. And when he could no longer do that, the person who owned the barn was going to send him to an auction. And he didn't care where he ended up. And a family member found out about it and ended up getting him and asked us if we could take him. And he's had a nice, happy retirement with us. And actually, Kimberly gets to take care of him on a regular basis.
I'm going to relay this comment from Kate Owen, so I think works for the Roanoke Times.
Okay.
She says, Maya, you were so kind to bring our family to the rescue to meet Dolly and Donkey. We learned so much about your mission and experience our family will never, ever forget. And I think she's watching in the Roanoke Valley. What is she talking about there?
So I got a text message from someone a couple months ago saying, could we arrange a family visit to Hope's Legacy? And I said, absolutely, and we set up a date and time. And the last text message the gentleman sent me was, thank you so much, this visit is 17 years in the making.
Wow.
And I thought, uh-oh.
No
does
pressure.
He have us,
what does that mean?
or does he have us mixed up with somebody else? Because the rescue's only 11 years old. So when he got there, I got the whole story. His son, Andy, when he was 10 years old, all he wanted for his birthday was a donkey. And they couldn't get a donkey, so they kept saying, no, you can't have a donkey. And he kept saying, but that's all I want. I want a donkey. I want a donkey. So they said, well, maybe when you're 27, you can have a donkey.
Oh my
So
gosh.
for the last 17 years, this kind of running family joke was that when Andy turned 27, he was going to get a donkey. Of course, that was not really feasible either. So instead, his parents actually came all the way from Kentucky for his birthday weekend. And they came to Hope's Legacy, and he got to meet Donkey and Dolly, who are our mascots.
That is
Oh my
amazing.
gosh.
They didn't tell him where they were going. It was a surprise when they pulled in. They actually told him they were coming to a quilt museum.
Oh.
And he was a little confused when they pulled onto the farm. But it was probably about a half an hour hanging out with Donkey and Dolly, and it was just a wonderful visit.
Wow.
That's a great story.
I love that. Isn't that something?
They were the nicest family.
I
They
can
were just
tell.
great.
Wow.
I can tell. How about this question for you? The tribulations that you have. We talk about challenges. Give us some success stories.
Ooh, there are a lot of them.
Well, there's some that we have like befores and afters on the screen. I mean, just seeing
Put
how
those
these
up,
hor-
J-Dubs.
to how the horses looked before and through your good care. They're fat and sassy and coats are shiny and
We call them in
Yeah.
advertising. We call them pops. Proofs of performance.
That's
Yes. Yes.
I'd love to hear some pops.
Well, we had one horse that came.
oh, great.
So Minx was an owner surrender. Well, she was a Good Samaritan surrender. So it was a case where somebody saw her in a field and she was foundering, which the very simple version of what that is that's actually not Minx, that's Sugar.
Oh, sugar. Okay.
Yep, that's okay. She looks a lot like Minx, except for Sugar's a miniature and Minx is a little bigger. But founder is a condition where the lamina, which holds that's Minx, yep. The outer hoof wall becomes inflamed, and it's an incredibly painful condition for horses. And a woman saw this horse for multiple years in a field foundering, was finally able to track down the owner and ask them if there was anything that she could do to help take care of this horse. And they gave her the horse. And being the kind of person she is, she said, absolutely, I'll take the horse. Right. And then she contacted me and said, so I took this horse, but I don't actually have any place for it to go, but it really needed to get out of its situation. So she brought it to us, and Minx is doing great. Unfortunately, because of the damage to her feet in the past, she will never be rideable. But if anybody is looking for a companion and just a horse to spend time with and love, she is just an absolute sweetheart. She's a gorgeous horse. Easy keeper, because you have to keep her on minimal food, because we don't want her to founder again. But she's just doing wonderfully well.
Throw that to you. We have someone that's close to the business that does horse therapy. The companionship aspect of a horse and a human.
It is incredible, the connection that people and horses can have, and the therapeutic benefit of being around horses. We actually have a number of veterans who volunteer with us, and for some of them, it's kind of their therapy, coming out and spending time with the horses. We have people who have had various different traumas in their life, and they come out and volunteer and just spend time with the horses. Horses are very non-judgmental. You can tell them anything you want. They're never going to tell anybody else. You have to be calm and quiet around them. Horses mirror back to you what you give to them. So if you are anxious and nervous around them, they're going to be anxious and nervous.
That's right. Buck Brandman says they're a mirror to your soul.
They are.
Right?
They are. And you absolutely have to just stay calm and collected when you're around them. And I don't know, it's hard to put into words exactly what they can do for you.
I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah. And they're such great teachers, too. I mean, because to be effective around horse, you have to be consistent every single time. You have to be a leader. You have to gain their trust. And if you think working with dogs or children is tough, man, a horse will remember everything you've ever done and hold you accountable for it. So it's, I have seen people that will use horses not only to help people with problems, but business. They're great teachers about how to relate to people in your own business. Just things about this leadership aspect, and working on your emotions, that sort of thing. Horses are great teachers for a lot of different venues, I guess. Yep.
Bethany Kilby, Heather Mott, thank you for joining us. Some comments coming in. Mia and Mitchie, she says hi and thank you all from our Crozet donkeys for what you do. Jen Chris Beck in Stuart Straff, Virginia has a very kind comment. She says, we have adopted 2 mares from Hope's Legacy this year. They were fully restored to beautiful health both physically and mentally and will be partners with us in ministry. The horses all get so much love and care from Maya and the volunteers. A truly wonderful and needed organization. It's got to make you feel good.
It does. It does. And it's great to be able to place horses in organizations like Jen's, which is Risen Ridge Ministry, and knowing that these horses are going to go on to help other people. We also have one horse that's with CART, Charlottesville Area Riding Therapy. Actually, we sort of have 2. We have one of the rescue horses, and then actually my personal horse, Hope, who's the horse the rescue is named after, is at CART as well at this point.
When you look at what you're doing now, so you are 11 years in. When you started Hope's Legacy, and now 11 years in. Walk me through that. I think about that a lot with what we do here.
Yeah.
It's like, this is no easy task. I've got to think it's no easy task for you either.
It's definitely not. And I didn't, I always hoped that we would reach this point and be able to do as much as we are doing now. I think some small part of me never actually believed it was really going to happen, but we just kept plugging away at it. And my volunteers are they're amazing. They are absolutely amazing. We would not be able to do what we do without them. And they do everything from the caring for the horses to helping with fundraisers and just spreading the word about what we do. And, if we have
more
horses
volunteers?
available, we can always use more volunteers. Right. Yeah.
Is there any particular skill you need them to know? I mean, even if they don't know about horses? Or?
We actually don't require horse experience for our volunteers. One of the nice things is if they don't have horse experience, then we can train them how we like things done.
Isn't that great? No bad habits.
Exactly.
One of your volunteers is watching, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it Abby Hershey?
Abby's one of our volunteers.
She says, you are the absolute best.
Oh, she's pretty good herself.
All right, let's take another opportunity to spotlight and folks that are watching, 4 different states watching right now, we have pinned the donation link in the comments section of all the Facebook pages you're watching. hopeslegacy.com/givingheyday. Hey, Hay, Giving Heyday. One more time. Who, what, when, where, why for the fundraiser?
So the fundraiser is to raise $15,000 to feed the horses hay through the winter, because hay has gotten very expensive, and we go through a lot of it.
So let's do it. I mean, Giving Tuesday's coming, but you don't have to wait until then. Be thankful for what you have, and be thankful that you have the capacity to give to others that need help right now. Whether it's, your favorite pet rescue or horse rescue, rabbit rescue, whatever it is, or people rescue, whatever it is, just find a way to do something for somebody this weekend. Do it today.
Do it today.
Do it
There you go.
today.
Betsy Thomas
Great.
Kritzer, thank you for joining us. John Hunt, thank you for joining us. Hawaii, watching the program right now.
Are they
Was
even
that Mary
awake
by
right
any
now?
chance?
Hopeslegacy.com.
What time is it there?
What time is it in Hawaii? I have no idea.
Boy.
You're asking so many
Yeah.
math questions today on the
Oh my
Legacy show. Where's my phone, darn it? Debbie
We
is.
started speaking French, and now we're doing math.
De-
Come on.
Debbie Oder, is that how I say her last name? I adopted Pete, a donkey from Hope's Legacy, and Pete the donkey makes me smile every single day. I love Pete the donkey to death.
There you go.
I love Pete the donkey too.
Pete the donkey is
Pete the donkey.
fantastic. He's
Need
great.
one, Jerry Miller.
I have 2 German shepherds. If I welcome any other animals into my house, I think my wife is going to leave.
They would love a donkey.
I would
Trey
love a
would love a donkey.
I love animals. I would love a donkey.
They
I
would
really
love
would.
2 donkeys.
Yeah.
Right,
But
Lauren?
what is the? I thought you said 2 acres for each horse or donkey.
So donkeys actually have slightly different requirements.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
They need a little less, because if you put a donkey on 2 acres, that's actually,
They'll
most of the time,
explode.
it's a little bit too much food for them.
It's too much for them. Yeah.
Donkeys have to watch their weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They'll just
actually
keep
need a
eating
little
it.
bit of gravelly to keep their feet, because they're
Yep.
desert animals.
Yeah.
right? And
This has been an amazing show.
yeah, you learned a lot, didn't you?
I did learn a lot. You are awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Seriously. Thank you kindly for joining us. What do we have in store for next week? Yeah, I got a funny story for you.
What's that?
I ran into, I went to Three Notched.
Oh, yeah?
Each week we pick up a nice little
Your case, uh-huh.
Yeah. Saw Dave there.
Yep.
Dave Warwick, the brewmaster. He screams from the back of the restaurant, Jerry, I can't wait to sing Christmas carols with you on What's Barking Local. I can't wait for that. Now, is
Oh my
that
gosh.
2 weeks away?
No, okay.
3 weeks away?
So next week we're going to be talking with our friend Erica Renee.
Nice.
Yeah, we're talking
Nice.
about the Santa Paws event happening at Castle Hill Cider on the 7th. We're going to be getting ready for the Santa Fun Run on the 8th. And then moving on forward to the 18th, we are singing Christmas carols right here, live and in person with Dave Warwick at Three Notched, Charlie Passerfield, then Bob Gerard from the Glassstones, Conrad Zeller, my right arm, and you, and we might even let you play. I don't know if I'm going to let you play a cowbell, but you can play the triangle.
No, you said I was playing the triangle.
That's right, you can play the
I
triangle.
get the triangle. You get
Yep.
the cowbell.
And there may be other surprises. Who knows? That is going to be our Christmas Carol extravaganza.
I can't wait for that
With
one.
the best of Charlottesville.
And you said
and
we
Amy Wicks-Horn is coming too.
we have a surprise, you said.
Yeah,
for
Amy
that.
Wicks-Horn is coming in
Okay.
too. She's going to come sing with us.
You're going to love this. Gabriella
Sherbo.
Sherbo. She says, we absolutely love Hope's Legacy and Maya. We will take today's show.
Right.
We will archive it on animalconnectionva.com. We will archive it on ilovecville.com. We will take the audio from today's program and we will turn it into an iTunes podcast. And for 30 days following today's show, we will syndicate it across the I Love CVille Network, 17 Facebook pages, 17 Twitter accounts, the 3rd largest Instagram in the community, and an e-newsletter that goes out to 118,000 inboxes every morning at 11 a.m. Maya, high five.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
awesome.
you.
You filled 40 minutes easy.
Wonderful.
Patty,
you.
thank
Go
you
buy
for setting
hay.
this up.
Yes.
That's right. What's
And
that?
thank you for setting this up.
You're welcome.
And go to Animal Connection.
That's right. Go shop local. Bark
Shop
local.
local.
Purr
Bark
local.
local.
Yeah.
Enjoy your afternoon. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have fun, guys. Take care.
Right. And cheers.
Good job.
All right.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank
Very
you.
nice. Very nice.
Go buy hay.
Right. Check out.